Great to see you guys. I want to do a quick introduction of Brennan, and then I'm going to allow him to introduce himself. So I met Brennan, gosh, almost a year ago at the Real Trends Conference out in Austin, Texas. He's an amazing golfer and pickleball player. So if you're looking for a partner on a team, reach out to him directly. He's got other skills in luxury real estate, so I figured, what the heck, let's bring him on. So Brennan and I met. He introduced me to Realm, which is the organization that he's a founder in, and very blessed to have him here today to talk about all things luxury. And I'm going to be having his partner, Julie Falpel, on the podcast. So for those of you that don't know, I'll be rolling out my podcast in about 2 weeks called The Real Estate Woman. I know, hard to believe, and that title wasn't taken. So Brennan, I'm going to turn it over to you to allow you to introduce yourself.
Great. Thanks, Debbie. And thanks, everybody, for joining. I'm excited to be here. One of the great things about being a part of Realm, and in this industry in general, you guys all know this, you get to meet really remarkable people. And when I met Debbie and we started talking about real estate, I thought to myself, you know, this person's quite a bit brighter than I am. And especially when it comes to real estate. And now, truth be told, that's not a terribly high bar. But her knowledge and the way she was talking about the industry, I was just excited to get to know her a little bit better. Now, Julie Foppel, who's our founder and CEO of Realm, that's going to be on Debbie's podcast, she is truly a real estate and a luxury genius. So make sure you tune into that podcast. You'll be glad you did. Debbie, would you like me to just kind of jump on in? Is that okay with you?
Yeah, take it away. As I mentioned, for those of you that just snuck in, Brennan's got about 45 minutes, and then we are going to allow for some engagement throughout this, as well as once Brennan wraps up, do some additional takeaways, masterminding, and get to know each other a little better. So, yep, Brennan, I will turn it over to you.
Great. I've shared my screen. So I've got some prepared remarks or some presentation-ish stuff, but you'll find very quickly I'm one of the most informal people alive. So if you've got questions, you want to jump in on something that's not making any sense, just stop me or pop it in the chat, and Debbie can let me know. And we'll try and make this as fun and interactive as we can. What we're going to talk about, at least to begin with, we're going to cover 3 very quick things. First of all, what is Realm and who am I? And I would also like to introduce my colleague Abby Jackson, who's also on the team with Realm. She's on this call. So we're going to talk about Realm, and then we're going to talk about 2 topics. One is the evolving definition of luxury, and then the second topic is the art of community building. And so we'll just kind of move through all this. I think we'll move pretty quickly. And again, if you've got questions, please jump in. Realm essentially was started maybe 4 or 5 years ago to kind of help us through this challenge of silos in luxury real estate. And that means you guys as agents, agents tend to operate in one of 2 silos, right? You're either in the silo of your brand, or you're in the silo of your marketplace. And so the whole concept of Realm is to build a community of luxury agents where you can be from any brand and you can be from any market. However, and this is the big however, it's an invitation only group. And so all of our 600 members have been individually invited in. Everybody's gone through kind of a 1-hour, 2-way interview process just to make sure it's a good fit and that the people that are in Realm are highly engaged with each other. You can see a few of our stats here. We're thrilled to announce that we have built out our U.S. membership, and we're now waitlisting members, and we've got a few markets that are going to start opening up. And then we'll continue to expand in markets that we're not in the U.S. and also globally. So let me click back through here. I'm watching the chat at the same time, so I'm kind of going back and forth. There's a couple of things that happen in Realm, and one is, and the thing we're probably best known for, is our technology. We've got a patented technology that is, for lack of a better way to explain it, it's like the Match.com of luxury real estate. Our members actually
they're kind of talking about what Realm is first.
Their luxury clients, and then we will match
basically
that.
Like a luxury real estate firm.
There we go. Oh, wait, there we go. I got muted. Can you hear me now, Debbie? Okay, perfect. So members with our technology, members load in their luxury clients. Believe it or not, we sign NDAs and all that kind of stuff. We find massive amounts of data on their clients, and then we create these beautiful, intricate lifestyle profiles for each client. Then we bring all the members' properties in, and we develop an intricate, beautiful lifestyle profile for each property. And then we use technology to make matches. So you might be an agent in New York City with a $30 million penthouse, and you can go into Realm and see, oh, this agent in Raleigh has 2 clients that are a perfect match, or this agent in Aspen has 4 clients. And so we will connect our members that way. But really what Realm is, it's community. We get together on weekly Zoom calls. We have lots of in-person events, and we do exactly what Debbie has organized here. We learn from each other. We mastermind together. We talk about challenges and opportunities, and we do referrals with each other. So I applaud all of you for taking part in things like this. This is exactly how we get better at real estate and we build our referral business. Okay, so let's cover a couple of topics. We're going to 2 thoughts. Somebody once said, if you're going to be a thought leader, you need to have a thought. So, okay, I've come up with 2. And the 2 thoughts I think are really, gosh, they're really important right now. The first is the definition of luxury, and it's evolving. That's a really big part of Realm. With our technology and our conversations, everything is about the evolution of the definition of luxury. And really what that means, it's all moving towards lifestyle. A little bit away from wealth, a little bit away from money, a little bit away from material stuff, and more about lifestyle. So everything we talk about is all about lifestyle. And so I'm going to share a few little pieces of information. I think this one's a really interesting one. This was a survey that Merrill Lynch did, and it talks about how do you define luxury, right? What is important to you? And these are all high net worth individuals, and you can see, connections, family time, very little about money, even less about stuff. Anybody want to venture a guess? Just put it in the chat. When do you think that survey was done? Anybody want to take a guess? Well, I'll just throw it out there. This survey was done pre-COVID. Can you imagine what the survey would look like now post-COVID? Yeah, exactly, Jason. So those percentages, I'm sure when Merrill Lynch redoes, those are going to be much more skewed towards personal things, towards family, friends, lifestyle, freedoms, things along those lines. And that's where things are going. It started happening before COVID, but it has accelerated dramatically. And that's why you're seeing this massive price appreciation in all of these markets that you guys are in that allow for a bigger house with a bigger yard or resort second home properties. People have kind of reprioritized what's important to them. And that's where luxury is heading. Here's another kind of an interesting thing. This is more generalized. What are people looking for? What are the trends in luxury? Personalization. And I'm going to give you guys all examples of this in real estate, but just to hit the highlights, personalization, right? That is becoming luxury. I think it's even moving beyond the kind of monogram Gucci bag. I think it's moving much more towards true personalization, whether they're material things or whether they're, it's kind of like how we operate as consumers, right? Can you imagine 3 years ago pulling up like cable TV and you're like, what in the world? Like, I've got to scroll through and find channels and this isn't on for an hour. Well, how about today? I just get everything delivered to me the way that I want it and personalized towards me. That's a tiny example of an entire life that is being personalized for all of us. And that's where things are going in luxury as well. Experiential, right? A little bit less about the material things, the Bentley, and a little bit more about customized vacations, customized experiences, things that you can experience, and then things that you can kind of talk about with your friends and family, whether it's on Instagram and you're, being Instagram worthy about it, or whether or not. Experiences are really the things that are kind of defining people and how they define where they're going to spend their luxury dollars. Sustainability, right? This has been a trend in a lot of different ways. I would also add philanthropy to this. I would put that right alongside of sustainability. If you look at surveys of high net worth individuals and what they value more than anything, you will see philanthropy as number one. They're building legacies. And so sustainability, philanthropy, those are kind of some areas that we're seeing more of. And then the last thing is localization. And not just localization, hyper localization. This is where we're talking, a really simple example is cool, going to the farmer's market and getting cool handcrafted artisan things or supporting local restaurants. I mean, post-COVID, the trend in localization has really exploded. So I'm going to give you guys examples of all this, but these are just some things that we're seeing in trends. Now, as it starts to kind of pertain to real estate, one of the things we talk about often in Realm is it's becoming less and less, bite our tongues. It's becoming less and less about the property, more and more about the lifestyle experiences and passions that people can have about the property. Julie Foppel has a great saying, and Julie is, I mentioned earlier, she's our founder. She is one of the biggest luxury agents alive. I mean, she does incredible amounts of luxury, and she's in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, of course. She's had a $65 million listing sell. I mean, she's really at that level, and she says, I've never sold a house by pointing out the kitchen, right? Everybody's got a kitchen. Everybody's got bathrooms. There's different finishes. There's cool luxury parts of it, but it is now all about how can I live in the house and extend or develop a lifestyle that I'm after, whether it's with my family or whether it's, entertaining or whatever. It's about the interests, passions, and hobbies around that property. So, okay, here's some examples. This was yesterday. I was in Denver and I was visiting a Realm member. And this gentleman's name is Stan Kness in Denver. Super cool guy, got a cool hipster little brokerage in Lohi, which is kind of down in the cool area of Denver. Just awesome. So he's got this really cool office space, front facing, and there's a corner. I'm going to kind of point, now you really can't see it, but there's a front corner of the office where to support the building, there's a big, massive concrete support structure, like a beam. And so it's kind of rendered like a 2 by 2 square foot part of his office completely useless in traditional sense. So he's created what he's calling Nook, and he's branded this Denver's smallest art gallery. And he is taking local, and this is a cool hipster artsy neighborhood. He rotates local artisans' works in here. He's got an Instagram page. He's got a website. It's all branded the same way. But I was standing there yesterday and I was watching people walk by and take pictures and then go in the office. And guess what? They start talking about real estate. So it's it's cool, it's hip, it's the right thing to do. It's all those things, but it's also a business building, hyper local community building is a huge trend right now. This, I thought, was a really good example. He's got a brokerage, he's got a firm, but it's a really small one. You guys are probably, some of you, I'm sure, are part of teams that are bigger than his whole firm. So you can pull off things like this really easily with just a little bit of creativity. Here's another example. Annie Clowerty. He's a Realm member in Newport Beach, huge agent in Newport Beach, California. Massive properties, 5 million is a bargain, 15 million close to the ocean is about average, and it goes up from there. So she's got this property that's a little bit off the ocean, and it's in this area that has kind of gotten a little bit of a reputation for being busy, right? Busy street nearby, all this kind of stuff. Unbelievable house, like a $7 or $8 million house. Anyway, so rather than putting together a traditional video about the listing, he actually brought the neighbor kids over, and the whole video is the neighbor kids explaining the neighborhood, riding their bikes, going down to the ice cream stand, like living the life of a kid, but it's the next door neighbor's kids. And so it's not Annie standing up as a real estate agent saying how this is a beautiful, quiet street that kids can ride their bikes on. She had the actual kids themselves do it. That's an example of lifestyle marketing, and I thought a really, really good example. All these agents, by the way, especially Amy Clougherty, if you want to see what lifestyle marketing looks like, go follow her on Instagram. She's amazing. Clougherty is Clougherty. Unbelievable. Okay, here's another example. I love this one. Asheville, North Carolina. Cool area, very much into nature and the arts and music, right? So here we have a member, Tracy Vetero, and he's got this really amazing listing, and he put a property video together, and it has nothing to do with the property in terms of, hey, check out this amazing property. Here's the beds, here's the baths, here's me as a realtor. Give me a call. I'd love to show it to you. No. He hires a very kind of a locally renowned cellist, and the listing video is I'd say maybe 1.5 minutes of him playing a song, a continual song all the way through the property. So you'll see him there in the great room, in the bedroom, and Tracy's in the kitchen here. Tracy's in the background. Not a word is spoken about the property. But I'll tell you what, it gives you an emotion, a lifestyle feel that you just can't replicate. That's another great example of, this is Asheville. Music is king in Asheville. This is what this property feels like. Such a good idea. Okay, I'm going to give you one more, and this is going to definitely kind of go into the material, right? These are the Bentley Towers. This is Miami, ultra luxury property. And you may be familiar with this. It's North Miami. You can look it up online. Now, the whole building is designed and being built to look like the Bentley logo. Okay, great. Got it. Every single property has got its own pool looking outward. But what you can't see here, and you can kind of get it in the lower right-hand corner, there's nowhere to park. You won't find a parking lot for the tenants because they have 4 elevators rather, running up the middle of the building. You drive your car onto the elevator, it takes your car up to your unit and parks it there on the 25th floor. And the kicker is, and this is what you can kind of see in the lower right, you can get your garage to look like to be glass. So you can sit there and look at your Bentley or your Ferrari or your Lambo or whatever while you're sitting there in your kitchen. Kind of different, kind of interesting, but heavily skewed towards auto enthusiasts. That's who's going to buy a $15 million property in the Bentley Towers. So those are some lifestyle examples. And if anybody's got any questions or want to jump in, please feel free. But this is definitely one of the trends. The evolution of luxury is evolving more and more towards lifestyle. Okay, so let's move on. Debbie, is that cool? Should I move on to the next topic, and then maybe we'll open it up for questions at the end?
Yeah, that sounds great. I mean, the lifestyle is such a great takeaway, is that it's not, even in the lower price points or areas where we're not seeing $2 million, $5 million, $20 million properties, it's still turning the presentation of the property around the lifestyle more so than the, amazing spacious backyard with eat-in kitchen or outdoor kitchen.
Yeah, no, that's such a good point. And Debbie, I'm glad you said that because there's another piece of this that's really important, and that is lifestyle, we believe, is in the eye of the beholder and in the eye of the marketplace. And so we've got Realm members I think we've got the #1 agents in, I don't know, every major market you can think of. We also have amazing members in Milwaukee, in Tucson, Arizona, in Des Moines, Iowa, where oddly enough, I happen to be from. We have members everywhere because luxury is a mindset and a lifestyle, and the price points are different. So I'm so glad. I don't want you to see this and think, oh my gosh, I got to be an Aspen agent to talk about luxury. We are all in luxury in some form or fashion, and everybody can adapt to it quickly. Okay, yeah. So go ahead, Debbie.
No, as I say, carry on.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the next topic. How are we doing on time? Great. Okay. So community is everything, and it can't be duplicated. As real estate professionals, we're all trying to think, okay, what's that thing, right? Whether it's social media marketing or whether it's whatever type of things you're doing to help yourself stand out, you should, right? People are investing in lead gen or social media platform, whatever you're doing, and everybody needs to do that. However, that all can be duplicated. Basically, everything a real estate agent does in terms of typical marketing can be duplicated, right? It can be versioned in some fashion or another. What can't be duplicated is your community. That is your fingerprint, and it can never be duplicated. So I cannot stress enough how important it is for a real estate professional to develop their community. And I'll talk a little bit about what I mean. This is kind of a weird chart, but it's a venture capitalist started to value different types of companies and what they provide and blah, blah, blah. And community building is absolutely by far the fastest growing type of business that they looked at, because again, we're all in the mindset of community these days, but it can't be replicated. So what do I mean by the types of community? It can be a lot of different things. I think we all spend an awful lot of time thinking about the consumer and our clients when we're thinking of community. I think the most valuable or among the most valuable is developing a community among other realtors. Whether they're in your market or whether they're in your feeder markets or whether they're on a call that Debbie's leading, just like you guys are doing today. That's a community, and developing that community in your own way is a fingerprint, and nobody can replicate it. Certainly current clients, right? And I'm going to give you some examples of how some of our members are building community these ways, but boy, there's a couple of good examples with your current clients. How to really develop community among that group. Future clients, I'm going to share something with you that is such a good idea. I almost just fell out of my chair when I heard it, and I'm going to share it with you. And Cindy, you're in Raleigh. Ben, you're in Raleigh. Or no, Cindy, you're in Indianapolis. I thought I saw Liz Brown. You're in Raleigh, and Ben, you're in Raleigh. You probably know the name Gretchen Coley. Gretchen's a Realm member, and she shared some ideas on a Wednesday call. We had 206 people on this call. You could have heard a pin drop. It's such a good idea. And then the last thing is realtors that are in your market that might be leaving. And that sounds weird, but I'll explain what that means. So let me give you a few examples. First of all, developing realtors in your feeder markets is crucial. You all have friends in other markets, and this group right here is a great way of developing feeder markets and those connections. Do you know the best way to find out your feeder markets? There are so many good resources. I'm going to share my favorite. It's of all things, it's realtor.com. And Redfin's got one, Zillow's got one. And basically what these guys are doing is they're tracking traffic coming in and out of different metros, and then they're ranking them. So let me stop sharing for just a second, and I'm going to reshare, and I'm going to show you this live as soon as I find it. Okay, here we go. So this is a website, and it's part of realtor.com. Again, Redfin's got one. You know what? I'm going to see how fancy I am. I'm going to try and actually put this link in the chat. God help us all. There we go. I think it worked. Okay. So what this basically means is you guys have probably seen feeder market studies that are all based on U.S. Census data, right? People moving in, people moving out. Great. Good information. It's lagging though, right? It's closed properties. It's 3, 6, sometimes a year old. You want leading data. You want stuff that's predicting where people are going to be coming in and out of. And so this site allows you to search either by county or by metro. And so I've been picking on Raleigh a little bit. Let me go to Raleigh. Of course, I picked the R on a scrolling list of like 2,000 cities. Let's see if I can find it. There we go. Okay, so I just click Raleigh. This is how fast this works. Liz Brown, I hope this is helpful for you. And what it will first do. Oh shoot, did that not work? Oh, for the love, hold on. I'm going to try this one more time, and then I'm just going to go back to, because I'm doing this through Zoom. So let me go back to Raleigh. Raleigh. There we go. Okay, for some reason, I think it's, oh, there we go. Okay, so what it does is it first tells you where are the people. Yeah, Cindy, oh my God, it's like crazy amount of data, right? This will tell you the people that are on their way into Raleigh, this is where they're coming from. These are the searches. And hopefully, Liz, this makes sense. You're probably talking to people from New York, Atlanta, DC. And it will also tell you inside North Carolina where it's coming from. So, and then you can filter and you say, you know what, I just want to see from inside North Carolina, other states, and then it will. Oh wait, the one was all, and then the other one is just singling out other states. You can do it the other direction, and I won't do the example, but you can also see from people in Raleigh, where are they looking? And so this is telling you the markets that you need to be setting up your feeder, your referral partners in, right? Because that also can translate into your listing presentation. I show a seller this, it'll blow them away and say, this is where people are coming into Raleigh from. You know what? I have partners. I have 3 feeder market partners in New York. I have 4 in DC. I have so on and so forth. You get the idea. So that's a great way to kind of build your community among the realtor base. Okay, here's another way. This is so good. This is on to the second one. This is clients. Now you're dealing with clients. And there's this agent in DC, Jeff Wilson. He's a Sotheby's agent. He's the most fantastic guy in the world. And he is such a good marketer. DC is a big market. There's got to be 15,000 agents. Jeff's in the top 10. So, I mean, he's a serious agent. And he's developed niche marketing. And this whole brand called, he lives on DuPont Circle. Amazing. And he's the DuPont savant. And he's got a whole marketing thing where he is like putting himself out there as the expert in DuPont, which is great. And he's got all kinds of stuff. But here's what's really cool. Abby, if you can find Jeff Wilson's Instagram, do you mind dropping that in there as well? So yeah, Jeff no is known, he's a friend, and he's known, he lives in the cool, historic DuPont Circle, DC home, everything you would think of when I say that. He has an obsession with throwing very intricate dinner parties. And his obsession, or I shouldn't say obsession, but his passion is really around setting the table. And I'm not kidding you guys. He literally will spend days setting a table and hand creating and curating everything. And then he shoots Instagram videos of it and how he builds this table. And it would make Martha Stewart's Christmas dinner table look like going to, McDonald's. I mean, it is so intricate. And then he throws curated dinner parties, 6 to 8 people, all clients, connecting them with each other. And he films the whole thing. So that's another example of just lifestyle and hyper local building your community. So cool. Follow Jeff Wilson. Really amazing. Okay. Gretchen Coley, unbelievable agent. And she was on a Wednesday call. She talked about the orphan buyer, right? This is such a good idea. And Liz would know this, and Ben would know this. Gretchen is this unbelievably, well-spoken, elegant, fantastic agent, does a lot of business. And these 2 ideas are some of the, I'm like, wow, those are like street level ideas. The orphan buyer is where she finds a neighborhood or an area of town and, of course, pulls the people that have bought there in 6 to 8 years ago or whatever that metric is, and then crosses that against the MLS. And guess what she finds? A third of the buyer's agents are no longer in the business or more. So she contacts those guys and says, hey, I'm Gretchen, and here's what I do, and blah, blah, blah. It's a very carefully written letter. It's got very specific, and it is a huge business generator for her. The other thing, and I'm going to stop sharing for just a second because I don't have visuals on this, but Gretchen has also developed a relationship with agents that are getting out of the business. And there are a lot of agents. And so rather than just abandoning their business, she's developed a relationship with them to take over their book of business and set up a lifetime referral stream for these agents. She partners with them. They do joint videos. They reach out to their clients. If the agent loves it because they don't want to abandon their clients, Gretchen is building her business and her team. But again, that's a hyper local way of building your network. And that is I've never heard that idea before. It's pretty brilliant, but it's kind of building at a full another level. Okay. The last thing I'm going to share, and then I'll stop talking, I promise. well, at least I'll stop talking long enough to take a drink of water, and then we'll take some questions. Is just this last thing. And, again, I get the opportunity to talk to just some really remarkable people, and you guys are remarkable people. I was in Denver the last couple of days and was with a lot of agents, and some of them are I mean, they're $200-300 million individual agents. They are the pinnacle of real estate in America. And I'll tell you what, everybody's having a tough time. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you see on Instagram. It doesn't matter what type of statistics realtors are putting out there. It is tough. It's been a really, really tough year. And as realtors, we don't just internalize that to ourselves in our own business, right? What do we do as realtors? We are the lightning rod for all of our clients, and they're going through tough times, and you are becoming their therapist, and you're nursing them through tough spots financially, maybe, tough spots, personally. And we as realtors tend to take all that on, don't we? And it's tough. We've got our own lives and our own business. And so this is just a thought I just wanted to maybe leave you with. It's been tough for everybody. Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't be too hard on your business, or the fact that if you're 30 to 40% down, guess what? The whole country is 30 to 40% down. And I don't care what level of realtor you're talking to, everybody is feeling it. So just acknowledge that. And I love this last line. It's normal to feel a little bit off, because people say this is the new normal. No, it's not. There's nothing normal about what's going on right now. It's going to get better for sure, but when interest rates triple in a 1 year period, that's not normal. So take care of yourself. Don't be too hard on yourselves. Okay. With that, I'm going to pause and open it up for questions or commentary or anything you'd like.
Yeah, I'd love for you guys just to take 10 seconds and throw in the chat box. One thing you took away. I'd love to see what you guys are all thinking and what was valuable for your business. Any questions you have, throw in the chat box. Brennan, so many great things. You talk about agents transitioning out of the business, and I know, there perhaps could be someone on this call who's having that same thought of what does succession planning look like? If I am thinking I might retire 5 years down the road, do we ever really retire from real estate? I have to ask myself.
Well, listen, I heard a great one-liner, or at least I think it's great. Realtors never truly retire. They just grow listless.
There you go.
Think about that.
That was a good one, but don't bad jokes. Yeah. Love it. Yeah. And so, when you start thinking about future casting your own business, it's huge. And you talk about also, and I see someone said the power of networking. You think about the ability to collaborate with someone now, kind of partner with them in a distant relationship, and then transition that into I'm retiring with someone in your market. What a great opportunity that way to be able to step out and have a continual level of service. Because I know when I got into the industry, to leave a market, which I did, I left Orlando and moved to Wilmington, I had to, quote, sell my book of business. And people aren't doing that anymore. They're partnering with other people. They're generating passive income after the fact, and they're getting in there and building that bond for a couple of years. 24 to 36 months is typically what we see, and then transition out with some additional revenue. So I thought that was a really good point too.
And in a good kind of a good mental space, because you're not abandoning these clients that you've spent all this time with in relationship. You're actually, if done correctly, it's a win-win. You get passive income. They get to be taken care of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And another point I saw, I'm going to scroll here through the chat also, the lifestyle piece. I know oftentimes as realtors, we're hesitant to put our personal selves on, or some of us are hesitant to put our personal selves on the big screen where everyone can scroll us. And I think, or troll us, one of the two. I think the key there is when you have a passion, whether it's golf, pickleball, setting tables, building chair covers, hosting small VIP events, it's a shame not to promote that, because that's attracting those people that are in those price points that are buying and selling and transitioning, that truly help us grow that business at that higher end price point.
For sure. Good point indeed. Laura Keller, I love your comment. And by the way, Ottawa, I mean, what a great example of a community in Canada that has just got so many cool things going on, from just cool architecture to cool vibe to, all this kind of stuff. So, I think people sometimes can think, Canada, okay, great. They're going to have clients that are buying, places in Naples, Florida, and Scottsdale. All that's true. But when you're in a market like Ottawa, that's a place that is actually a destination. And it's just wonderful to kind of, I love that comment. We can all appreciate international borders are melting just as fast as state borders, just as fast as MLS borders, just as fast as anything else. And people like to move around. So, yeah.
Yeah, great. Ben says, for the orphan buyer letter, is that a one-time note, or is that a consistent mail out similar to a farming piece?
Yeah, good question, Ben. Listen, I know I'd have to ask Gretchen, but knowing Gretchen and kind of her team and her systems, I suspect it's a very consistent thing.
Yeah.
There's, she's really a master at, and the other thing Gretchen talks a lot about is she's kind of a big believer in direct mail still, whether it's letters or whether it's, and again, let's think about it. 10 years ago, how many letters did you get or postcards or whatever from realtors? Lots, right? Now, how many emails do you get from realtors, or social media contacts do you get from realtors looking to, and I'm in the mindset of a consumer, lots. But guess what they're not getting anymore? Direct mail pieces. So where is the play? Where are the places where you can communicate that really nobody else is communicating? Direct mail sounds a little antiquated, but it's got an upside if you can figure out the right way to write things and the correct call to action, for sure.
When I look at, too, our largest population in the real estate industry, and the population that for the most part has money, are our boomers. And they're still receiving mail, right? They're probably trapped on Facebook, and that's okay. We like Facebook too. At the same time, they're checking their mailbox. And if you get too far away from that, you're actually cutting yourself from a very vital population that could be selling those higher end homes or transitioning, have wealth to then go buy an additional property for a family member. Like, we're seeing a lot of that gifting of funds for even higher end homes for kids.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I've got 2 kids in college, and I don't know what that world's going to look like. And when they're in 4, 5, 6 years and they're ready to, hopefully buy their first home, it's a different world out there, and it gets even more different with high net worth individuals, for sure. Jessica Davis, I love your question. I'm going to find that video from Tracy. That's the realtor in Asheville, and I'll get it to Debbie. And what I might have is I'm not sure if it's a link or an actual file, but I'll find it and get it to you. And Debbie, perhaps you can send it out to the group or whomever wants it. It's awesome. Really good. Yeah. For sure.
Well, we have a guest on the call here, Michael, and I had shared with him after seeing Gretchen's presentation some of the information on her Have You Heard letter, along with tying that to the orphan letter. My understanding too, Ben, from that was that she does dump them into a farm, like creates a farm for those people that she sends to, so it does stay more of a consistent touch. Obviously would have to continue as direct mail until she generates additional contacts. But I share the information with Michael, and so he's working on a project for his farm, which is about 9,000 homes, many of which they did a scrub on that have been in the home more than 20 years and are over the age of 65. So I'm going to turn it to Michael to share a little bit about how he took that to the next level for his local market, and he's winning with that approach too.
Hey, everybody. So a couple things that we've done is We are hyper-focused. So our farm consists of about 9,000 homes. And starting in January, we were really hyper-focused on getting in front of the folks, like Debbie said, who are over the age of 65 and have been in their homes for 25 years or longer. And the message, and we're doing this monthly, it's a monthly letter that is being mailed out to them. And we're focused on providing them with the information that would be useful to them as they are thinking. Most of these people have raised their families and have been in their home for 25, 35, 40 years. And so it's not just, do you want to sell? It's, we know you want to sell and you're stuck. And we have all the solutions. We've got the partners, we've got everybody to make this as seamless and as easy for you as possible. So all you have to do is pick up the phone and give us a call. And we're already starting to see some really good results from that. Something else that Debbie shared with us that we borrowed was the have you heard? So in this same farm, what we're doing is, are you waving at me?
No, I'm saying bye, Brennan. Brennan's got to head out. Bye, Brennan. Thank you so much. Go make other people
I hate to
smart.
leave in the middle of your idea, Michael, because it's really, really good. I'm like, yeah, but I do have to scoot. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, Brennan. Bye.
The other thing that we're doing is, so we're big on just sold postcards. And so we've been doing what everybody does, just sold, and our response rate is what everybody else gets. It's average. So now we're doing have you heard postcards. And instead of just saying we sold the home and this is the price, we're actually saying, have you heard, and telling a story for each one of our listings that sells, and letting them know that in your neighborhood, we sold a home for, $60 a finished square foot more than the average in your neighborhood. And so what that means for you is this. If you'd like to learn about how this sale affects your neighborhood and your home, give us a call. We'll be happy to talk to you about it. So it's no longer just sold. It's did you hear? And then on the back of the postcard, it is something that ties in the sale to how it affects them in a positive way. And so we just started that recently, and again, already starting to get more calls and more return on investment with these postcards than I've seen in the 15 years that I've been sending these out. So it's that personalization rather than just sending the same thing out to everybody. It's making it about them and in turn how we can help. So
yeah, great. And I'm going to add a couple things there too, Michael, to what you're doing. First of all, Kelly has a question. How do you get information on the homes for their age of the owner, as well as how long they've been in the home?
So there's two ways. In our MLS, there is tax data reports that we can pull, but that's kind of cumbersome. So we use a company called USA Data, and USA Data is awesome. You can find folks that who have had children since they bought their home, who have had promotions since they bought their home. Any targeted message that you want to send out to folks, you can pull it through USA Data. So with this one, we said we want to see anybody that in our farm that has been in their home that are 65 years or older and have lived in their home for at least 25 years. And it gave us that data. It gave us all the data that we needed for that. So I think I've been using USA Data for a long time, and it's great.
So out of those 9,000, about how many people were included in that group?
2,600.
There you go, 2,600 people. And two, just to bring additional context around this, Michael's farm average sales price probably starts around 600,000 and goes up. So you're working with people that have a tremendous amount of equity in their home, and like I said, they're in that life transition. And that's where I want to add too. they're also in that life transition. So when Michael talks about, he's very humble. He talks about, we have all the things, like what are all the things? And this is like a huge list we've been working on over the past probably 4 or 5 weeks. So what are all the things? When you say we give connections to all the things, what are the things, Michael?
Yeah, so, for a lot of these folks, it's just introducing them to different organizations like Gentle Transitions. So here in the Twin Cities, we've got a group called Gentle Transitions that will go into the home and help them to really organize their house. And so again, these folks have 40 plus years of their kid, everything they saved and didn't want to get rid of for their kids, and their kids don't want them. And they've got the piano that they think is worth $5,000 and they have to give it away for free. And, all of these things that as they're downsizing, they have to really figure out what to do with these things. And so it's introducing them and with organizations like Gentle Transitions that will help them figure out what they're going to donate, what they're going to sell, what they're going to take with them. We've got partners that we trust for hauling stuff away, for donating, for dumpsters, for anything that they would need that is getting in the way of them being able to be stuck in their home. And that's what we're finding, is that these people want to move. They want to simplify. Their homes no longer serve them, but they're stuck. And so the more that we can introduce them and show them that this is what we've done for folks just like you, and here they are now on the other side of this, enjoying the life that they deserve. It really helps to kind of loosen things up and get them unstuck so that we can actually get on a path to making this happen.
Yeah.
I will say this too.
Go ahead.
Obviously, when we sell their home, we would love to help them buy their next home. And I was just talking to Debbie, in Minneapolis, in the Twin Cities, there are a lot of some fantastic 55 plus communities that are popping up, and they're elegant and they are providing a lifestyle that we haven't seen. And maybe this is more common in other areas of the country, but we haven't really seen these communities pop up to the level that they are right now. And over and over again, I was getting calls from people like, hey, Michael, we want to sell your home. We just, we're moving into Riser. Oh, great, another rental. But now I'm partnering with Riser, and I actually have another meeting with them next Tuesday. And I'm like, if this is where my folks want to go and this is their next step, great. Let's get them in there. We've got a referral business now going on with Riser that they're going to, we worked out a percentage for anybody that we introduced. We've got four clients now in the last 5 weeks that are all selling their home and moving into these 55 plus rental communities. And so it's a win-win. It gives them the opportunity to find something that they love, where they've got a sense of, that's the other thing I'm finding too with these conversations, is people are nervous about moving out of their home that they've lived in for 40 years because they're afraid they're going to be lonely. They're afraid that when they move, they're going to lose that sense of community that they've had forever. And so being able to bring them into a place like Riser, where there's all these people doing community events, doing fun things, getting to know each other, it really just makes them feel at home and gives them the confidence to take action. So it's working out nice.
Yeah, I love that. And that's the thing too. And Michael and I were talking about it because I have a client, and here in Little Wilmington, we have a couple of these coming up as well. And I've moved 2 people into these types of communities. And I had one call me right as Michael was working on this. And she called me before she called her kids. And she's like, Debbie, you have to come have dinner with me. And that always sounds amazing. And so I took up the opportunity, and she said, I have to get out of here. She said, I can't do it. I need my house back. Well, it turns out we kept her there, but at the same time, that community doesn't have anyone that they're referring to that would be interested, that could help these people buy if they decide to go ahead and terminate their leases. So I think it works both ways. It works, hey, Mr. Seller, we can help you get all your stuff taken care of, figure out what we're doing. Like, here's our list of people, get into Riser. And if you don't like it, we're going to help you buy a house. And the same goes for the people that we haven't met. moving into places like Riser or these 55 plus that still have a house to sell and they haven't even thought about that. They're just going to check out where their friend lives. So I think there's a great referral opportunity there.
And that's what I love